jet fighter pilot. That's on the bucket list. We all know her very well. We're glad to have her back. She's always welcome. We always look forward to a very inspirational and energetic speech. So please help me welcome Reverend Angela Harmon. Again, thank
you. Good morning again. And I'm glad the sun came out. I didn't need an umbrella to walk in. I don't like umbrellas, so I was going to be wet when I walked in. So I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, but I'm actually actively working through a class. The last class is this Thursday, 7 to 9. If anybody wants to join them, I'll leave this flyer called Activate Your Happy. And so I'm going to talk from Activating Your Happy this morning. I am getting settled in my new space. You followed that journey with me. I appreciate your prayers with that journey. I only have a few boxes left in my office area that I will get to. I need to sort through and throw things out and that kind of thing, but I'm getting settled in. And one of the things that I shared with you in reference to my journey with new property was I had fallen in love with a particular property, and that's not the property that I'm in. So little did I know when I wanted to talk about activating your happy, I had to activate my own happy. You know, usually what we talk about in our lives as we are practitioners and facilitators of life and have our own trades as a practitioner, half the things we need to do out there for others, we need to do for ourselves. They said the cobbler needs shoes and the mechanic needs his car fixed, and all those things happen in our own lives, so we have to take care of that. So activating your happy actually is activating my happy as well. So I'm going to take you through the little bit of the journey that we've gone through the last 3 Thursdays, and this coming Thursday can still be your own assignment in your own lives, even if you don't get to drive all the way into the city of Atlanta for the class. Maybe I can do it out here for you once. Is look for happy stories. Look for where you see the word happy. It is showing up so much for me, I guess, because I'm asking for it. It's in commercials. I see it on signs. I actually have a picture in my phone from when I was coming from my last trip. It was in the airport. It's like everywhere. It's fallen out of stuff in my house where I had a vision board. Be Happy is now in my journal because it was on my vision board a couple of years ago, to be happy. So as the reading that Chris read, and I think you're more even-tempered and loving than our other Chris. He's talented, but he needs this teaching, I think, and you've got it. But trust, you have to really trust yourself and have faith that what we ask for can be. That's where the trust really comes in, because the world will show us something completely different. And it will show it to us again and again and again. And we can either believe what we see out there or believe what we know in here. So activating your happy, one of the books that I started out with, well, let me first give you some background why this subject even came up. I actually thought real strongly about it. I had gone to the Philippines last January 2014, and I heard this song by Pharrell Williams. I think everybody knows it by now. It was from the movie Despicable Me 2, Happy. I mean, it's just simply called Happy, but I hadn't taken my grandkids to see that particular movie. We saw the Despicable Me, and then, of course, there's a sequel. So I didn't know this song existed. So I'm in Manila working out in the gym, and I hear this song, and I instantly fall in love with it. I get back to the U.S., and everybody's telling me, Angela, that song's about 6 months old, you're late. But I'm loving it. I go out and find the album. It's in my car. I play it, and it activates my happy. And one of the lines in the song says, "Do you know what happiness is to you?" And I really don't know that everybody knows what happiness is to them. And it's not that temporary lollipop happy I'm talking about. I'm talking about a true state of joy. No matter what's going on, it doesn't mean I have a smile on my face every second, but I love to have a smile on my face a lot. But that means even if the smile's not there, there's joy underneath. And that's where the word activate came from. So if I'm going through something and I'm not happy about it, what do I do to activate it? What do I do to push that button in me that I know works, rather than somebody pushing a button in me that's gonna, make me go the other way?
Treatment.
There you go. So treatment is the key. And that gift was given to us by Ernest Holmes. I remember praying when I was growing up, let's make a deal, God. If you do this for me, I'll do that for you. Didn't work. Some of us even welched on our deals. It's like, once you got it. You can't welch in this. It either is or it isn't. I love that phrase that everybody says, it is what it is. So it can be that now, but you can change it. So I came up with Activate Your Happy, never did a class last summer, but it turned into a bigger idea in the sense that I got to grow into it. I have an LLC that I've registered with Georgia called Happy Academy, because I believe just like we have a filling station, Happy Academy is going to be that happy station where you can stop by, you need a little bit of happy, push your button, you're not able to push it yourself, that's a spot to remind you how to activate it. So Activate Your Happy even got bigger. Well, when I thought about that, this video, which I hardly ever watch regular television, but I will every now and then, so that's where I get some of those cute commercials. Well, PBS, I will watch periodically, and this video showed up on PBS. So this is a video I'd love to share with you. I shared this with 2 classes ago, and I will talk about some of the things in the video too. So there was 3 subjects that I talked from so far. One was how to choose to be happy. There's a book on that subject. I didn't bring it with me today, but we can look it up easily online. They actually show that book in this particular video as they're looking through books that talk about happy. Then I showed this video, and then we talked about, this book has been through some grind, right? I mean, it has fallen apart, and I refuse to get a new one because all my notes are in here from years of going back through it. I mean, it's got different highlights in it, different dates in it, because you'll read something one time and then you'll read it again and something else pops out at you. It has different meaning to you. So I've got all these dates and different colors in here, what popped out at me at the time. So there is a chapter in this book called Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker, Decide to Be Happy. So I will talk a little bit from that. Some of the things that do make me happy, I brought a couple of samples, and I've forgotten that it had done this. Even though I had 3 children, I was raising them, and I was a military bride, I found that cross-stitching did something for me. It activated something for me. And lo and behold, not about a year ago, I started doing it again. Now, most of you who've seen the back end of my car, you've seen that it says wildlife on it. I like that word, that set of words, because life can be full of wild moments that lift us up, and then wild moments that shock us, just tragic, and it can be that extreme. But we can activate the higher wow when the lower wows come. So I did that one. I want to put it in a frame, and then again on the flight to Manila, that's a long flight, as we close our prayers, because I told you treatment is how we activate any of our higher self, we close with, and so it is. So if I constantly see, and so it is, around me, maybe put it in a bookmarker. I'm trying to decide how I'm going to make this follow me everywhere like I have my wildlife follows me. But these activate something in me that gives me a sense of value, a sense of power, a sense of creativity, something I've done myself with my own hands, and it activates a little bit of happy. So I want us to truly know what activates our happy. So speaking from the first book, How to Choose to Be Happy, the author is Rick Foster and Greg Hicks. Some of the areas that we talk about is accountability. We have to be accountable for our own happiness. It's not our job, it's not our spouses, it's not our teachers, it's not our mothers and fathers, it's not our siblings. This teaching is an opportunity for us to come together and get accountable for what's happening in our lives. If we don't like it, do something about it. Don't let it just continuously be the mode of operandi that you live in. Researchers tell us that it's easy for us to blame. It's often, you see that in meetings. I can go to a meeting and somebody will point the finger at somebody quicker than they will take responsibility for the whole team changing it. But they'll say, well, that was Angela's part. Oh, really? Okay. They will stick you out there. So it's very obvious that blame goes along with greed, envy, jealousy. Those are all indicators of being unhappy too, right? So I can let people point the finger at me a little bit easier than years gone by. I'm still not cured. You know, I can get defensive too. It's like, wait a minute, you know, and come back with a rebuttal myself. But I find that the more I activate my own happy, that I'll let them do that. Because what is for me is for me, and there's nothing that anybody else can do out there if I don't give my power away. So that's how the power of decision comes up for me. We have to take our lives in our own hands and see what happens. And when I say our own hands, that's us and God, because God is in us. So when I say owning it, that's us. That's the teamwork of that power which is greater that we believe in. When we assume complete control over our situation, we feel more confident, more confident as well. We feel like that we can do anything at any age, thus the skydiving. I don't do the jet piloting thing, you know, I don't know if that's coming. He's speaking it into existence for me. But self-pity is our worst enemy. If we yield to it, we can never do anything wise in the world. And that's Helen Keller. Imagine someone that had what looked to be limitations, but she had no limits. There was something that I read recently just because I put her in there. You know how you draw things to you, subjects keep coming to you. So Helen Keller, somebody else came up, they asked her the question, what is it like to not be able to see? And she said, I don't know because I have vision. I thought, how powerful a statement is that? So we have all our faculties. We have everything that we need to walk, talk, eat, breathe, listen, love, care. So it's very important for us to identify what makes us happy, because we've got everything we need. Ordinary riches can be stolen, real riches cannot. In your soul are infinitely precious things that cannot be taken from you. Oscar Wilde. So we have everything we need, even if we don't think we do. I have a daughter. When I was raising her, I was introduced to the fact that she looked like what the world would call limitations, not being able to hear. I discovered that about 18 months old, my grandson's oldest aunt. And of course, after my little pity party in my house for that night, you know, hearing the diagnosis, I cried about it, and you say all the things, why me, God, you know, why her, what did we do? You know, all the things you say. I didn't even know this teaching at the time, and what I did know, because this teaching is in all of us, the spirit of natural law, the right thing to do is in all of us, is how we apply it. I woke up the next morning with this knowing that she could be and do anything she wanted. Where that thought came from had to come from a higher source. Something within me that told me the answer, that there is something greater for her. Long story short, she's 35 years old, lives in New York, went to RIT, you know, the list goes on and on and on. But I had to see that first. So that was setting the intention. First we set it for our children, and then they set it for themselves. And then my intent was for her to be happy. I wanted a happy little girl. I didn't want her to just be miserable in life because she might not be able to hear this or limit herself. You're competent and able to do anything anybody else can do. Her happiness was in swimming. So she ended up finding that very early at 5 years old. She swim competitively. She was on the swim team. She was a captain